Hi guys, and welcome back to That Stamp Guy. Now today we've got a bit of an animal theme going on, and we're going to start with this first one. And as you can see, it got a couple of penguins on the front. And this is a French Southern and Antarctic Territories stamp, and it was issued in 1956, and it has the Rockhopper penguin on it. Now, I've just got a few facts on the Rockhopper penguin. So they are the most aggressive of the penguins, as well as the most numerous penguins. When they do some interesting things, like when they're sleeping, they actually hide their heads under their wings while they're at rest. Rockhopper penguins leave their breeding colony in the late summer or fall or autumn, depending on where you are. And they actually spend 3 to 5 months at sea, where they go looking for food. Now, they're quite a hardy penguin because they can survive the battering they get when they launch themselves out into high waves onto the rocky coastlines. And rockhoppers can actually jump up to 6 feet in a single hop. So quite a sporty little penguin. Now, the rockhopper penguins, they actually lay a couple of eggs. The second laid egg and the subsequent chick is usually the larger of the two, and is usually just the only one survivor. It typically hatches first or at the same time as the chick from the other laid egg, but the first laid egg is often kicked out of the nest by the adults prior to hatching time. On land, not surprisingly, they're not actually very fast at all. This is where they earn their common name. Unlike other penguins, which slide around on the ice on their bellies, Rockhopper, on land, they prefer to hop about on rocky shores of the colony's grounds. Underwater, they can swim, and they swim at about 7 kilometres an hour. They actually have a few predators, which is probably why their numbers are decreasing, and obviously global warming. Now, their primary predators are fur seals, sea lions, and when they're out at sea, most likely killer whales. And although they've not been hunted and the eggs have not been collected for some time, southern rockhopper penguin populations are actually decreasing, which is a bit of a shame. Right, so that's the first stamp of the day, the Rockhopper penguin. And we'll just pop him down there. Cool. Now, the next stamp is this one here. And this is well, as you remember, on the thumbnail, it said 1 million elephants. And so you're probably wondering, what is that all about? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But this is a stamp from Laos, or Laos. Now, depending on whether you call it Lao or Laos, depends on whether you're, well, the English-speaking people tend to call it Laos. But the people who live in Laos, the Laotians, call it Lao. Now, Laos used to be known as the Kingdom of Lang Xuang, and that was from 1354 to 1707, which actually translates, and this is where I got my thumbnail from, Land of a Million Elephants. Now, this is because Laos had extensive forests and sparse human population. Wild elephants roamed all over. So you're probably asking, well, there used to be 1 million, how many's left? Well, actually, the Laos government and the conservationists, sorry, I jiggled that there a bit, estimate that there are only about 800 elephants left in all of Laos. And just a handful of them are actually living in the wild. So in the Lao language, the elephant is known as Sang. Now, this stamp is a 1958 Laos stamp, and Laotian, sorry, bit of a tongue tie there. Well, they regard the Asian elephant as a symbol of power and potential of the forest. Statues and carvings of elephants adorn temples and houses throughout the country. The Asian elephant also features in spiritual and cultural ceremonies and festivals held throughout Laos. Okay, so a very important animal in Laos. Oh, so that's the elephant. Now, the last stamp of the day is a South African stamp. Now we've had one of these before, well not this one, but we've had a South African stamp before. There we go. And as I say, it's an animal theme. So on the front of that, you can see is an antelope, and they're actually called a Springbok. Now this stamp dates from around 1930s to 1940s, depending on what variety you actually have of it. Now, the Springbok, well, that's a medium-sized antelope, and it is found mainly in southern and southwestern Africa. Now, they're active mainly at dawn and dusk, and the Springboks, well, they actually form harems, so mixed-sex herds. In earlier times, the Springbok of the Kalahari Desert and the Karoo, well, they migrated in large numbers across the countryside, and a practice known as trekbokking. A feature peculiar but not unique to the Springbok is pronking, in which the Springbok perform multiple leaps in the airs and up to 2 meters high above the ground. And they do that in like a stiff-legged posture with the back bowed and white flap lifted. Primarily a browser, the Springbok feeds on shrubs and succulents. Now this antelope can live without drinking. This is quite incredible. This antelope The antelope can live without drinking water for years, meeting its requirements through eating succulent vegetation. Now there's no major threats to the long-term survival of the Springboks, but in fact one of the few antelope species that is considered to have an expanding population. They are popular game animals and are valued for their meat and skin. Now, the Springbok is actually, well, it's the national animal of South Africa. And for those who have a bit of a sporting background, you'll also know that the Springboks is the name of the South African rugby team. Cool, so we'll just pop him down there beside the elephant. And that is the stamps for today. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the little animal stamp show today. And if you like that, please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you and bye for now.